Hey everybody, let's talk about something that's been quietly stealing the show at ranges and in the woods, while the rest of the gun world argues about capacity and muzzle energy. I'm talking about 22LR Revolvers. Yeah, the little rimfire wheel guns that cost almost nothing to shoot, barely kick, and still put a stupid grin on your face every single time you pull the trigger. They're perfect for new shooters, perfect for old-timers who just want to burn through a brick of ammo on a Saturday, perfect for backpacking, perfect for backup guns, and perfect for reminding yourself why you got into this hobby in the first place. Today we're counting down the 15 best 22LR revolvers you can still buy right now, from pocket rockets to full-size target monsters. No fluff, no filler. Just straight talk about what these guns actually bring to the table. Let's get into it. Kicking the list off at number 15 is the Taurus Tracker 990-2, and before anybody starts with the Taurus bad comments, just give me 60 seconds, because this revolver legitimately punches way above its reputation. What we've got here is a full medium frame, all stainless steel beast that tips the scales at a very confidence-inspiring 40 ounces unloaded. Measures 9.3 inches overall with a 6-groove, 4-inch barrel that wears a 1.16 right-hand twist. Out of the box, you get 2 complete cylinders, one chambered for 22LR and one for 22 to WMR, both holding 9 rounds, and swapping them takes literally 5 seconds with no tools required. That means in one holster, you can go from backyard ultra-quiet plinking with shorts to serious varmint or small game power with magnums without ever changing guns. The ribbed rubber grips are probably the most comfortable factory stocks Taurus has ever shipped. They soak up whatever tiny recoil exists. And the adjustable rear sight paired with the serrated ramp front lets you dial in point of impact exactly where you want it out to 50 yards and beyond. Trigger is typical medium frame Taurus. Double action runs about 11 pounds, but surprisingly smooth and predictable, while single action brakes at a crisp 4 pounds with 0 creep. Height is 5.4 inches. Width across the cylinder is 1.5 inches, so it carries nicely in an OWB holster, but still disappears under a jacket. Construction is beefy stainless with a matte finish that shrugs off rust and holster wear. And the transfer bar safety means you can carry all 9 rounds ready to go without worrying about the firing pin resting on a primer. Accuracy is legit shocking for the price. Groups under 2 inches at 25 yards off a bag all day long with good ammo. Downsides? The factory sights are basic black on black, so a lot of owners swap the front for a fiber optic or gold bead. And the cylinder release can feel a little stiff when brand new, but it slicks up fast. Street price right now is hovering between $480 and $530 depending on finish. And for a convertible 9-shot, .22 that you can hand down to your kids after they've put 50,000 rounds through it, that's one of the best pure value propositions in the entire rimfire world. If you've been sleeping on the Tracker 992 because of old Taurus horror stories, the current production guns have been stupid reliable, and this one absolutely deserves a spot on anybody's shortlist. Sliding in at number 14 is the Ruger GP 100 10-shot in 22LR. And if you've ever wanted a full-size bomb-proof revolver that shoots like a target gun but costs pennies per trigger pull, this is the one that makes you wonder why anybody ever bothers with anything else. Ruger took the exact same triple-locking cylinder system that makes their .357 Magnum GP 100s legendary front, rear, and crane lockup with 0 play. Then stuffed a 10-round .22 cylinder inside it and wrapped the whole thing in 42 ounces of satin stainless steel. Overall length comes in right at 11 inches, with a 5.5-inch cold hammer forged barrel. Height is about 5.7 inches, and width across the cylinder is a beefy 1.6. You get a green fiber optic front sight that lights up like a Christmas tree, a fully adjustable blacked-out rear, and those factory Hogue-style cushioned rubber grips with hardwood inserts that fill your hand perfectly and soak up the already non-existent recoil. The double action pull is smooth and predictable at around 10 pounds, single action brakes at a crisp 3.5, and the trigger reach is identical to every centerfire GP100. So, if you train with this, you're literally training with your .357 or 10 mil carry gun without the grip angle, weight distribution, sight picture, everything lines up. It'll happily digest everything from CCI quiet all the way up to hypervelocity stuff without a single hiccup. And the ejector rod throws spent cases so far, you'll lose them in the next county. The only real downside is the size and weight. This isn't a concealed carry piece unless you're built like a linebacker, and it's thirsty for holster real estate, but as a range toy, competition gun, small game hunter, or the ultimate teach somebody real revolver skills on the cheap platform, it's basically unbeatable. Current street price is hovering right around $800 to $850 depending on where you look, and for that money, you're getting a revolver that's overbuilt to .357 Magnum specs, shoots dime-sized groups at 25 yards all day, and will still be running perfectly long after we're all gone. If you want the absolute toughest, smoothest, most accurate .22 wheel gun that feels like a real fighting revolver, the GP100 10-shot is the one that ends the debate. Number 13 on the countdown is the Ruger Bearcat. And if you've ever wanted a pocket-sized piece of the Old West that you can actually shoot every weekend without taking out a second mortgage on ammo, this is the one that steals hearts. This little single-action beauty weighs right around 24 ounces unloaded, measures just 9 inches overall with a 4.2-inch cold hammer forged barrel, stands 4.9 inches tall, and carries that classic brass trigger guard curve that screams 1950s television westerns. The frame is aluminum alloy with a gorgeous blued finish, while the cylinder and barrel are steel and decorated with the famous roll-engraved bear and cougar scene that Ruger brought back a few years ago, because people begged for it. You get 6 rounds of .22 long rifle, a transfer bar safety that lets you safely carry all 6 chambers loaded, something the original 1800s designs could never do, and a loading gate with the modern interlock so you don't accidentally fire it while the gate's open. The action starts a little stiff from the factory, but after a couple hundred rounds it turns into butter. Single action trigger braking, right around 3 pounds with 0 creep you can barely feel. Sights are fixed, a blade up front and a square notch in the top strap. Plenty for punching paper or popping cans out to 25 yards and beyond, because that barrel is stupid accurate for its length. Grip panels are smooth rosewood on the shopkeeper models or checkered hardwood on the standard, and they fill the hand surprisingly well for such a compact gun. Overall width is only 1.3 inches, so it slips into a coat pocket or a small holster like it was born there. It's the perfect trail companion, truck gun, or teaching the kids on the ranch revolver, because it's light enough that a 10-year-old can handle it, but built tough enough to survive being dragged behind a horse. Don't ask how I know. Downsides? It's single action only, so you're cocking the hammer for every shot, and at current street prices running right around $700 to $800, it's definitely not the cheapest .22 single action on the market. But you're paying for that perfect blend of vintage looks and modern reliability that only Ruger seems to nail every single time. If you want a revolver that looks like it rode with the cowboys, shoots like a modern target gun, and makes everybody at the range stop and smile, the Bearcat is pure magic in a tiny shootable package. At number 12, we have the absolute classic Smith & Wesson Model 63, the stainless steel J-frame kit gun that's been making people happy since the early 70s and still refuses to be improved upon. This is the 4-inch barrel version, though you can sometimes find the 3-inch. Built on the legendary J-frame platform with an overall length of right at 8¼ inches, height of 5 inches, and a slim 1.38-inch width that lets it disappear in a coat pocket or the side pouch of a backpack without printing. Unloaded weight is only 23 ounces, fully loaded with 6 rounds of 22LR. It's still barely 23 ounces, so you can literally carry it from sunrise to sunset and forget it's there until you need it. Up front, you get a pinned red ramp sight, Out back, a fully adjustable square-notch rear that clicks with authority when you dial in, windage or elevation. And the whole package rides on gorgeous checkered walnut grips with the deep laser S&W medallions that scream old-school class. The double-action trigger is smooth and predictable right out of the box, usually stacking just a hair before it breaks clean around 10 or 11 pounds, while single action is a crisp 4 pounds with zero creep. Cylinder lockup is tight, timing is perfect, and the stainless finish shrugs off rust, even if you leave it sweaty in a tackle box all summer. Out on the range, this thing is stupid accurate, easily keeping 10-shot groups under an inch at 25 yards, off bags with good ammo. And the longer sight radius plus that perfect kit gun balance makes headshots on squirrels or spinning spinners feel almost unfair. Pros: heirloom quality fit and finish, timeless looks, bomb-proof reliability, and it's light enough for a 10-year-old or a 70-year-old to shoot all day. Downsides: only 6 rounds in an age when 8 and 10 are common, no factory night sights or optics cut, and the walnut grips can get slick if your hands are wet. Easy fix with a little skate tape or aftermarket rubber. Real-world street price right now is hovering between $650 and $750 new, and you can still snag clean used ones in the high $500 to low $600 range if you're patient. Pound for pound, dollar for dollar, there's still no better do-it-all. .22 Revolver for hiking, fishing, plinking, small game, or just teaching someone new why wheel guns are cool. The Model 63 isn't the newest, flashiest, or highest capacity .22 on the market, but it's the one you'll hand down to your kids one day and they'll fight over it. That's why it's an absolute legend and still deserves every bit of love it gets half a century later. Number 11 on the countdown is the Taurus 942, and if you're looking for a dead, reliable, packable, 8-shot .22LR snub that won't empty your wallet, this little guy needs to be on your radar. This is a true small frame revolver, overall length right at 7.6 inches, height 4.6 inches, width a skinny 1.34 inches, and it tips the scales at just 25 ounces unloaded, sometimes even a hair under. You get a 3-inch barrel with 1/16 twist, 6-groove rifling, a serrated ramp front sight, drift adjustable square notch rear, and a matte black finish on the steel barrel and cylinder paired with an alloy frame that keeps the weight down without feeling cheap. The star of the show is that 8-round cylinder, 2 more than a classic J-frame, which means you're carrying serious plinking or small game firepower in a package that still disappears in a pocket holster or coat pocket. Trigger is double action, single action, usually around 10 to 11 pounds double, and a crisp 4-pound single action break once you get a few hundred rounds through it. Taurus uses their transfer bar safety, so it's drop safe and you can carry all 8 chambers loaded with zero drama. Grips are soft rubber, nicely checkered, and shaped, so even big hands don't feel cramped. Out of the box, fit and finish is surprisingly good for the money. Cylinder lockup is tight, and the ones I've shot have had perfect timing, even after thousands of dry fires and live rounds. Real-world accuracy is easily 2-inch groups at 15 yards offhand, and sub 1 inch at 10 yards from a rest with good ammo. Pros: stupid light, 8 shots, actually comfortable to shoot. Eats any .22 you feed it from CB caps to hypervelocity. And right now, street price is hovering between $330 and $380, depending on where you shop. Downsides: the double action pull is on the heavy side out of the box. Sights are basic, though perfectly serviceable. And some people just can't get past the Taurus name, but the current Brazilian production has been solid. If you want a pocket .22 that you can carry every single day, train new shooters with, or toss in a backpack and forget about until you need it, the 942 is one of the smartest buys on the market today. For the money, nothing else gives you this much capacity and shootability in such a tiny, tough package. Coming in at number 10 is the revolver that single-handedly brought affordable single-action .22s back from the brink and made an entire generation fall in love with wheel guns all over again, the Ruger Wrangler. For right around $200 street price, sometimes dipping to $180 on sale, You get a 6-shot, single-action-only beauty with a cold hammer forged far .62-inch barrel, a lightweight aluminum alloy frame and grip frame that keeps the total weight to a very carry-friendly 30 ounces, and a tough Cerakote finish available in black, bronze, silver, or burnt bronze that shrugs off holster wear and rusts like it's nothing. Overall length is a handy 10.25 inches, height is 5 inches, width is a slim 1.42 inches. And the checkered black synthetic grips fit most hands perfectly while keeping the classic bird's head or standard plow handle profile depending on which model you grab. Ruger gave it a transfer bar safety and loading gate interlock. So unlike the old cowboy guns, you can safely carry all 6 rounds loaded with the hammer down. No more 5 beans in the wheel rule needed. The blade front sight and integral notch rear are simple but dead nuts reliable. And that cold hammer forged barrel with its 1 Fransmean twist delivers legit 1-inch groups at 25 yards with good ammo, way better than any $200 revolver has any right to shoot. The single-action trigger breaks right at 3 pounds out of the box and only gets sweeter with use. Pros? Insanely cheap to buy and feed, tough as nails, safe modern design, parts and holsters everywhere, and it looks straight up cool hanging off a belt or riding in a glove box. Downsides? The aluminum frame isn't as heirloom grade as the all-steel single 6s, the sights aren't adjustable, and the cylinder pin can walk forward under hard recoil if you don't keep an eye on it. But a little Loctite or an O-ring fixes that in 10 seconds. This isn't a target gun, it's not a collector piece. It's the revolver you hand to your kid for their first centerfire transition, the one your wife steals because it doesn't hurt to shoot, the one you stake tomatoes with and then pop cans at 50 yards when you're done. At current real-world prices hovering between $190 and $220 depending on finish, the Wrangler is still the undisputed champion of bang-for-the-buck wheel guns. And there is literally no excuse on earth for any shooter not to own at least one. Number 9 on the countdown is the one that turns every head at the range, the Heritage Rough Rider Wyatt Earp Tribute with that insane 12-inch barrel. This thing is pure cowboy movie fantasy brought to life. Overall length stretches out to a hilarious 17 inches. The barrel alone is a full foot of cold hammer forged steel, wearing a deep blued finish, and the frame is tough zinc alloy coated in black Cerakote, so it shrugs off scratches and holster wear like it doesn't care. Unloaded, it tips the scale at right around 39 ounces. Heavy enough to swing smoothly, but light enough that you can still shoot it one-handed without your arm falling off. You get beautiful laser-engraved faux ivory grips with Wyatt Earp's signature, and a stagecoach scene that look way more expensive than they are. A classic single-action only trigger that breaks at a crisp 3.5-pound pull once it's broken in. Fixed blade front sight paired with a square notch rear, and of course, that legendary 6-shot cylinder roll, engraved with buntline special script. The extra 8 inches of barrel over a standard Rough Rider does 2 magical things. It pushes ordinary 40-grain bulk pack, dependable, 22 long rifle, to almost 1,200 feet per second. That's legit rifle velocity from a handgun. And it gives you a 20-inch sight radius that makes punching 1 ragged hole groups at 50 yards feel almost unfair. The long barrel also tames whatever little recoil .22 has left. So follow-ups are lightning fast, and the gun balances perfectly right under the cylinder, so it points like your finger is doing the aiming. Downsides, it's a total holster hog. Forget concealed carry unless you're wearing a duster, and drawing from anything but an open-top cowboy rig is comedy. But that's the trade-off for having the coolest-looking plinker on the planet. Accuracy is stupid good. I've rung 8-inch steel at 100 yards offhand with this thing on a calm day, and it'll digest anything from CB caps to hypervelocity stuff without a hiccup. Current street price for the full Wyatt Earp edition is running between $210 and $240, depending on the shop. And for that money, you're getting one of the most fun, most accurate, and flat-out most photogenic 22 revolvers ever made. If you've ever wanted to feel like you're in Tombstone while turning soda cans into Swiss cheese at ridiculous distances, this is the one. It's not practical, it's not subtle, but man is it an absolute riot every single time you touch it off. Kicking off our countdown at number 8, we have the Diamondback Sidekick. And if you're looking for the ultimate fun per dollar .22 revolver that still brings some genuinely clever tricks to the table, this is the one that keeps climbing my personal rankings every time I shoot it. This is a 9-shot dual-cylinder convertible that lets you go from 22LR to 22 Magnum in about 15 seconds. Just pop the base pin, drop one cylinder out, slide the spare one in, and you're back in business. No tools, no fuss. Overall length is right at 9.875 inches. With the standard 4.5-inch barrel, height is 4.9 inches, width is a slim 1.4 inches, and unloaded it tips the scales at 32.5 ounces. Light enough to carry all day, heavy enough to soak up whatever little kick .22 Magnum can throw at you. The frame is zinc alloy with a tough Cerakote finish in black, bronze, or flat dark earth, depending on the model, while the cylinder and barrel liner are steel where it counts. So it's durable even if you are the type who treats trail guns like tools instead of jewelry. Sights are classic Western style, a fixed blade up front and a square notch in the top strap, plenty good for plinking out to 50 yards and ringing steel all afternoon. The grip panels are checkered black polymer that fill the hand surprisingly well for such a budget-friendly gun. And the whole package wears that bird's head grip shape that looks pure Old West, but actually points really naturally. The real star of the show is that single-action trigger. Mine breaks at a hair over 2 pounds with 0 creep and just a whisper of over-travel. Honestly, one of the crispest factory SA triggers I've felt under $500. Because it's built on a transfer bar safety system, you can safely carry all 9 rounds loaded. No half-cock nonsense required, which is a huge upgrade over old-school cowboy revolvers. Out on the trail, it's been 100% reliable with everything from CCI quiets to full-house Magnum hunting loads. And the extra velocity you pick up with that Magnum cylinder actually turns cheap bulk pack 22 into legit small game medicine past 30 yards. Downsides? Yeah. The zinc frame won't take the same abuse forever that an all-steel gun will. The double action pull is a long, heavy 16 pounds if you ever decide to try it that way. And the ejector rod is a little short for speed reloading Magnums. But at a real-world street price hovering between $280 and $320, depending on finish and where you shop, those are tiny complaints. This thing is an absolute riot as a backpacking companion, a first revolver for new shooters, a knock-around truck gun, or just the revolver you grab when you want to shoot 500 rounds and still have money left for dinner. For the money, the Diamondback Sidekick is flat out one of the smartest buys in the entire rimfire world right now. Moving right along to number 7 on the list is the Chiappa 1873 22 10-shooter, the revolver that looks like it rode with Wyatt Earp, but secretly swallowed a modern high-capacity magazine for breakfast. This is an Italian-made clone of the classic 1873 single-action army, except Chiappa said 6 rounds is for cowards, and somehow crammed 10 22LR cartridges into a cylinder that still fits the Old West frame. Overall length with the standard 4.75-inch barrel is right at 10.25 inches. Height is about 4.9 inches. And the whole gun only tips the scale at 32 ounces, thanks to the Zamok alloy frame and steel barrel liner. You can get it in 5.5-inch, 7.5-inch, or even a weird little 4-inch artillery model, but the 4.75 is the sweet spot for balance. It wears a color case hardened frame option, or simple blued black plastic cowboy grips, fixed sights, and that gorgeous fluted cylinder that spins like butter once you put a couple hundred rounds through it. The single action trigger breaks right around 3 pounds with 0 creep, and because it uses a modern transfer bar safety, you can actually carry it with all 10 chambers loaded without risking a Darwin Award. The alloy keeps it light enough to wear in a holster all day on the trail, yet the steel liner in the barrel and cylinder means it holds up surprisingly well to thousands of rounds of cheap bulk ammo. Out at the range, this thing is an absolute riot. You pop 10 shots faster than most people can reload a traditional 6-gun, and every single person walking by does a double take when they count the holes in the cylinder and realize it's not a trick. Accuracy is honestly shocking for the price. With good ammo, you can keep 10 rounds inside 3 inches at 25 yards all day long. Downsides: the The Zamak frame will eventually show holster wear. If you're rough on it, the plastic grips are functional but feel a little cheap, and the bluing is decent but not Ruger level tough. You'll also want to detail strip and clean it every 1,000 rounds or so, because .22 gets filthy and the alloy doesn't like carbon buildup. But for real-world street price hovering between $180 and $220, depending on finish and barrel length, it's one of the most entertaining ways on earth to blow through a 500-round brick without breaking $250 total. Whether you're teaching a kid the pure joy of single-action shooting, running a cowboy action side match on a budget, or just want the coolest plinker at the range that makes grown men giggle when they pick it up, the Chiappa 1873 to 22-10 round is stupid fun wrapped in classic looks. If John Wayne had been born 100 years later and had a YouTube channel, this would be his daily carry. Sixth place goes to the undisputed king of, oh wow, that's actually a real gun, the North American Arms Mini Revolver, in .22 long rifle. This little monster is the smallest functional centerfire capable revolver you can legally own. Yeah, they make it in .22, short and .22 mag too, but the LR version is the sweet spot for most folks. Unloaded, it tips the scales at just 4.8 ounces for the 1/18-inch barrel model and only 5.9 ounces for the 1/58-inch version, making it lighter than most pocket knives and literally lighter than a loaded Glock 19 magazine. Overall length is a ridiculous 4.0 inches with the short barrel or 4.6 inches with the long one. Height is 2.38 inches, and it's a hair under an inch wide. The frame, cylinder, and barrel are all machined from 17-4 stainless steel, so it laughs at sweat, rain, or being tossed loose in a tackle box for 10 years. You get 5 rounds in a fluted cylinder, single action only with a half-cock safety notch and a spurred trigger that folds flat when the hammer is down. Pro tip: always carry it with the hammer down on an empty chamber because there's no trigger guard and the spur trigger pull is right around 6 pounds with 0 take-up. Sights are a machine groove on top and a tiny half-moon front blade. But the truth is, you're point shooting anything past 7 yards anyway. North American Arms builds these things like Swiss watches in Provo, Utah. Tolerances are insane, lockup is tight, and the cylinders spin so freely you'll find yourself playing with it like a fidget spinner. The grip options are wild: rosewood or walnut bird's head, oversized rubber boot grips, mother of pearl, stag, or even folding holster grips that turn the whole gun into its own belt buckle holster. Accuracy is shockingly good for the barrel length. With the 1/58-inch tube, you can keep 5 Federal Champion rounds inside 2 inches at 10 yards all day if you do your part. And the rifling twist is fast enough to stabilize everything from CB caps to 40-grain high-velocity hollow points. Downsides: reloads are slow as Christmas because you pull the cylinder pin, dump the empties, and poke in fresh rounds one by one. And the heavy trigger plus tiny grip means new shooters sometimes slap the trigger and send shots low. But that's the trade-off for a gun you can hide in an Altoids tin, clip inside a boot, drop in a bra holster, or literally tape under a desk. Real-world street price right now is running about $280 to $320. For the base stainless 1/18-inch model, $340 to $380 if you want the 1/58-inch barrel or magnum cylinder. And collector editions with custom grips can push past $450. If you ever need a revolver that nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever spot until it's too late, this is the one. It's not a primary, it's not a range toy, it's the ultimate get-off-me gun for when carrying anything bigger just isn't an option. Absolute legend status. Coming in. At number 5, we've got the Ruger LCR in 22LR, and if you've ever wondered what happens when Ruger takes their revolutionary lightweight compact revolver platform and shrinks the caliber down to the cheapest, friendliest round on earth, this is it. This little beast tips the scales at just 14.9 ounces unloaded, measures 6.5 inches overall with a 1.87-inch barrel, stands 4.5 inches tall, and is only 1.28 inches wide, meaning it flat out disappears in a pocket or under a t-shirt. 8 rounds of 22LR live in a extensively fluted, ion-bonded stainless steel cylinder that's both crazy strong and ridiculously light, while the monolithic 7000 series aluminum frame is wrapped in a polymer fire control housing. That's the real magic trick here. That housing, plus Ruger's patented friction-reducing cam, gives you one of the smoothest, most consistent, non-stacking double-action triggers you'll ever feel on any snub-nose revolver, period. People who've shot the centerfire LCRs already know how good the trigger is, but on the .22 it feels almost unfair, usually breaking right around 9 to 10 pounds with zero grit or hiccups. Up front you get a pinned replaceable ramp sight with a white stripe, and out back a square notch integral to the frame that's totally snag-free for pocket carry. The Hogue Tammer monogrip is soft where it needs to be, firm where you want control, and the grip peg system lets you swap to any other LCR grip if you want something smaller or larger. It's double action only, no exposed hammer to hang up on clothing, and the cylinder release is the big, easy-to-hit Ruger button we all love. Pros: insanely light, buttery trigger, 8 shots instead of 5 or 6, eats every kind of .22 from CB caps to hypervelocity without a hiccup, and it's built like every other LCR, tough as nails. Downsides: the short sight radius and tiny grips mean it's a close-range tool, not a bullseye gun, and some folks with big hands wish the grip was just a hair longer, but that's nitpicking. Street price right now is running between $510 and $550 depending on where you look. And for that money, you're getting the most shootable, most carry-friendly, modern snub-nose .22 on the planet. If you want a pocket rocket, you can practice with literally all day for pocket change. Or a trainer that mirrors your centerfire LCR carry gun almost perfectly. This is the one that keeps climbing higher and higher on everybody's list the more they actually shoot it. Jumping to 4th place goes to the Colt King Cobra, 22LR. And if you've ever dreamed of owning a Python, but don't have $5 grand burning a hole in your safe, this is the next best thing you can actually shoot without taking out a second mortgage. This is a 10-shot, double-actioned, a single-action revolver with a 3-inch barrel, full underlug, and the iconic vent rib that made the original snake guns famous. Overall length sits right at 8 inches. Height is 5.6 inches with the standard Hogue overmolded grip, and width is a very carry-friendly 1.55 inches across the cylinder. Unloaded weight is a very manageable 30 ounces, so it feels like a real fighting revolver instead of a toy. Colt uses their classic leaf spring trigger system here. And out of the box, the double action pull stacks a little but rolls smooth at around 10 pounds, while the single action breaks at a crisp 3.5 with zero creep. Front sight is a brass bead, rear is fully adjustable with a white outline, and the whole top strap is matted to kill glare. The cylinder release is the classic Colt push-forward design. Timing and lockup are perfect, and the fluted cylinder is finished in that bright brush stainless that catches light like jewelry. What really sets this gun apart is how Colt scaled down the legendary King Cobra target frame to .22, but kept every ergonomic detail intact. So grip angle, trigger reach, and balance are identical to the centerfire versions. That makes it the single best training tool on Earth if you run a Python, Anaconda, or any centerfire Colt snake gun. Because every single manipulation is the same, except the bang is cheaper, and the recoil is basically a gentle handshake. Out at the range, it'll print one-hole groups at 25 yards with good ammo. And the long ejector rod throws empty cases clear with authority, even with the short barrel. Downsides? Yeah, it's pricey. Street price right now is hovering between $900 and $1,000 depending on where you look, and the brass bead front sight can wash out in really bright sunlight for some people. But that's about it. There's no better feeling .22 revolver on the market if you love classic Colt DNA, and if you want a safe queen that you'll actually shoot thousands of rounds through, or if you just want the coolest looking rimfire wheel gun at the range that makes everyone stop and ask, wait, Colt makes a .22 now. This thing is pure class in a sea of polymer and zinc, and it earns every penny of its spot at number 4. Alright, coming in strong at third place on this countdown, and honestly one of the greatest 22 revolvers ever made, is the Smith & Wesson model 6.1 Selpen. This is the full-size, K-frame, all stainless steel masterpiece that's been the gold standard for rimfire wheel guns since the early 90s. You get your choice of a 4-inch or 6-inch full underlug barrel, the 6-inch is the one most people drool over, 10-round unfluted cylinder, overall length right at 11.5 inches on the 6-inch model, height of about 5 3/4 inches, and a width of 1.45 inches. Empty weight sits around 40 to 43 ounces depending on barrel length, which is perfect because that mass completely kills whatever tiny recoil .22LR has left, while giving you the same grip angle, reach to trigger, and sight radius as a classic Model 19 or a 66 in .357. Up front, you've got a pinned Patridge black blade, fully adjustable rear with a white outline, and those gorgeous factory checkered walnut combat grips with the S&W medallions, though plenty of folks swap in some Target-style Magna grips, or rubber for even better control. The double-action trigger is legendary, usually stacking up around 10 to 11 pounds out of the box, but glass rod smooth, and the single-action brakes at 3 to 4 pounds with zero creep. Lockup is bank vault tight, timing is flawless, and the forcing cone and barrel are cut to the same precision Smith uses on their Performance Center guns. It's bored with a 1 in 15 twist that stabilizes everything from 40-grain bulk pack round nose to premium match loads, and it'll print sub-1-inch groups at 25 yards all day long if you do your part. The full lug barrel adds forward weight that makes the gun hang on target like it's on rails. And the stainless finish shrugs off sweat, rain, and neglect for decades. The only real downside is the price. New 6-inch models are running right around $900 to $950 street, and the 4-inch versions are only about $30 or $40 less. But when you pick one up, you instantly understand why people call it the rimfire python killer. It's the revolver you buy when you want to shoot 1,000 rounds in a weekend without your hand hurting. When you want to teach someone proper double-action fundamentals on a platform that feels exactly like a duty-size centerfire, or when you just want the smoothest, most accurate, best balanced .22 wheel gun on the planet. If you're serious about rimfire revolvers and you don't own a 6.117 yet, you're honestly just missing out on one of the happiest shooting experiences in the gun world. Here we go. With number 2 on the countdown, the Charter Arms Pathfinder 2 is hands down one of the most underrated .22 revolvers on the planet. And if you're looking for a lightweight, 8-shot snubby that punches way above its price tag, this is the one you need to pay attention to. This little aluminum frame beauty only weighs 20 ounces unloaded, measures just 7.8 inches overall with a 3.5-inch barrel, though Charter also offers 2-inch and 4-inch versions. Stands 4.9 inches tall, and is a hair over 1.4 inches wide, meaning it disappears in a pocket or ankle holster, easier than most people expect from an 8-shooter. The cylinder is stainless steel with a tough black nitride finish. The frame is 7000 series aircraft aluminum, wearing a matty black anodized coat, and the whole package is built in Shelton, Connecticut with real American hands, not just a badge slapped on an import. You get a fully shrouded ejector rod, serrated ramp front sight, notch rear, and those soft rubber combat grips that fill the hand surprisingly well for such a small gun. The double-action trigger breaks right around 10 to 11 pounds, smooth and consistent with almost no stacking, while the single-action pull is a crisp 4 pounds, plenty good for popping squirrels or ringing steel at 25 yards. Because it's built on Charter's medium-sized frame instead of a true J-frame copy, the grip is longer and rounder, so even guys with big mitts can get all 3 fingers on it comfortably. 8 rounds of 22LR means you're carrying more firepower than most classic snubbies while still staying under a pound-and-a-half loaded. Recoil is basically non-existent. Follow-ups are lightning fast, and the gun loves everything from CCI quiet all the way up to hyper-velocity stuff like CCI stingers without a hiccup. The cylinder locks up tight, timing has been flawless on every sample I've shot, and the bore axis sits nice and low, so muzzle flip is laughable. Downsides, the factory sights are basic, though plenty usable, The cylinder release is the old-school push-forward style instead of the more common pushback. And some folks complain the trigger reach in double action is a touch long for really small hands, but that's about it. Nothing falls off, nothing rattles, and Charter's lifetime warranty has your back if the apocalypse ever happens. Feature-wise, you're getting a transfer bar safety, exposed but serrated hammer for single-action cocking, and a completely snag-free profile if you go with the spurless hammer option. Out the door right now, in late 2025, street price is hovering between $410 and $460, depending on barrel length and finish, with the matte black and stainless models both readily available. For under $5, you're getting an American-made, 8-shot, aluminum frame .22 revolver that you can carry every single day, train new shooters with zero intimidation factor, or just burn through 1,000 rounds on a lazy Sunday without your wrist crying for mercy. It's not fancy, it's not flashy, but the Charter Arms Pathfinder 2 is honest, tough, stupidly fun, and still one of the very best values in the entire rimfire world. If you sleep on this one, that's on you. And taking the top spot, the undisputed king of 22LR revolvers in 2025 is the Smith & Wesson model 33C. This little blacked out J-frame is the one that makes every other pocket 22 look like it's trying too hard. Unloaded it, tips the scales at just 11.4 ounces. Yet somehow Smith crammed 8 rounds of .22 long rifle into a cylinder that's barely bigger than a silver dollar. Overall length is a ridiculous 6.3 inches with a 1.875-inch snub barrel. Height is 4.3 inches, and it's only 1.3 inches wide, meaning it flat out vanishes in a jeans pocket, jacket pocket, or even a cargo shorts pocket on a hot summer day. The frame and cylinder are 7000 series aluminum alloy finished in matte black armornite, while the barrel is a stainless steel liner shrouded in an aluminum sleeve. So it's crazy light but still durable enough to survive daily carry. Because it's a true Centennial style revolver, the hammer is completely enclosed, making it double action only, with a buttery smooth 10 to 11 pound trigger that stacks just a tiny bit at the end, but breaks clean every single time. Up front you get a pinned XS Sight standard white dot front blade that's bright as hell in daylight and quick to pick up in low light, paired with a square notch rear that's machined right into the top strap, zero snags, zero adjustments needed. The grip is Smith's synthetic boot-style rubber that fills the hand surprisingly well for such a tiny gun, keeps the bore axis low, and soaks up what little recoil .22LR makes. Out of the box, the 43C is rated for .22 short, 22 long, and .22LR, including CB caps and shorts if you want mouse fart quiet, and the cylinder cuts are generous enough that it'll run even the crummiest bulk pack ammo without hiccups. The big selling point, of course, is that 8-shot capacity in a package this small and light simply doesn't exist anywhere else. Downsides? Yeah, it's not cheap. Street price right now is hovering right around $750 to $780 depending on the shop. And the double action only trigger takes a little getting used to if you're coming from single actions or exposed hammer guns. Also, because the cylinder is aluminum, you're not supposed to dry fire it without snap caps, but that's an easy rule to live with. For deep concealment, new shooter training, kit gun duty in the backpack, or just having the ultimate nobody knows I'm armed backup, nothing touches the Model 43C. It's the revolver equivalent of a magician making an elephant disappear, except the elephant is 11 ounces of pure pocket-sized freedom. If you can only own one .22 wheel gun and you value absolute carry comfort above everything else, this is the one you save up for, plain and simple. There you have it, 15 22LR wheel guns that deserve way more love than they get. Whether you're training, teaching, trail walking, or just burning through ammo because it's Tuesday, one of these belongs in your safe. Drop a comment and tell me which one you're picking up first. Hit that like button if rimfire revolvers make you as happy as they make me, and subscribe because we've got a lot more of this coming. Stay safe, keep shooting cheap, and I'll catch you in the next one.